Hello, world. Welcome back to the Dev Update here on D&D Beyond. I'm Joe. That's Mellie. I'm pointing another. There she is. There's
There
Mellie.
we go.
Uh, the dog you hear faintly in the background is my neighbor's dog Penelope, who is a delight. If you are just joining us for the very first time, this is a show where we give you some updates on what's coming up for the D&D Beyond toolset. The officially licensed digital tool set for Dungeons and Dragons, and also we put one of the devs who actually makes the tool set in front of you guys so that you can shoot them and ask your questions
Shoot
and
them
get some
questions.
insights into the tool set. Shoot them questions with kindness and absolutely no violence. Just sort of just a nice way to really kind of break down some walls between the team and the community so that you guys can get some insight into what's going on and why and all that good stuff. We have a good time. Let's jump. Hey, Mellie. Let's jump right into this roadmap. And as we're going through it, once again, Mellie, how do people ask questions in the
They go
how do they
into
do it?
the Twitch chat over here and they type the word question
Hey.
and then they follow that up with their question. Don't put any symbols before the word question. Then our Warforged that gathers them will have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly. He's very good as long as you get the programming correctly. And as people are getting questions in, our guest today, Andrew Searles, is back today. Are there particular areas of D&D Beyond, Mellie, that people should be prepping questions and areas that people should be avoiding for Andrew?
Absolutely. So if you've got questions about the encounter builder, the combat tracker, the digital dice, the game log, this is the guy that has, the ability to decide whether we can answer those questions or not. And he will have the information as well up there in his noggin. So if you've got questions about any of that stuff, get them in there because hopefully we will be able to pull some secrets out of this guy.
Absolutely. Look, in this case, again, you guys are all the press at a press junket, and you got to ask the sneaky questions to the cast of
Yes.
Star Wars so that you can get real spoilery answers. You can
And
trick them.
also, just reminder as well, we can't answer questions about when something is going to happen. So don't ask questions about, like, hey, when is this going to happen? What's the ETA on this? We won't have an answer. But if
Yeah.
you want to ask about what things might entail, what's being worked on, that's the kind of stuff we would love to throw at Andrew. So throw those
Yeah.
in there.
Who is Gamora? Why is Gamora? What is Gamora? But not when is Gamora? All
Yeah.
that said, let's jump into our roadmap, Mellie. Again, you guys, right now, 2 books available for pre-order on the D&D Beyond Marketplace. The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, which is an adventure book for, I believe, beginners on up. Set in the Feywild. This is the first proper Feywild setting in 5th edition. So super stoked about that. Make sure you check that out. Make sure you grab up that book. And then we're also returning to another Magic the Gathering setting with Strixhaven, a curriculum of chaos. Hey, y'all like magic schools? You like wizard students? This book is absolutely going to be for you. I honestly did not know a lot about the Strixhaven setting until I found out it was going to be a D&D book, and so I had to go to our own Michael Galvis, who heads up editorial over at dndbeyond.com, who is magic obsessed and got the lowdown. So if you are not sure what Strixhaven is, we've got a ton of lore articles and breakdowns and stuff like that over on the website that you should absolutely check out. That ends the book shilling. Mellie, what's going on the mobile app?
Yeah. Well, on the mobile app, we've got a latest update out. So that is going to be your dice targeting options in the game log on mobile. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is available on Android right now and that it is going to be coming for iOS. That's still in progress, but it is on the way. So yeah, if you've been wanting to check that out, but you only use the app version of the character sheet, you don't use the website version, now you can make sure that you've updated and then go and check it out. You can kind of click and hold, press and hold on your roll to just choose per roll, or you can also set your default in the game log on the app to choose, hey, all the time I'd like to only send my rolls to the DM. I don't want to share them with anybody. And then sometimes maybe like, oh, hey, but yeah, this really funny performance check, I want to send that to everybody. So I'm just gonna click, press and hold. So that's really
No,
exciting.
it's gonna be Super cool. No, the app is dope. Continues to get doper. Pretty excited about it. That team is absolutely incredible. They do a lot of super hard work. Mellie, wouldn't it be funny if I took the next one from you?
I mean, it yeah, you probably don't want to do that. I feel like that would be a weird brand to sit on. So we also have a Pride Month portrait frame that we've made available to every single user on D&D Beyond. This is not going to go away at the end of the month. You're going to have this forever. So everybody, you can head over to your character sheets, hop into the sidebar and choose change frame, and you can find that Pride frame. This was really headed up by Faith Elizabeth Lilly, who works on content here at D&D Beyond. And she saw that people were asking, like, hey, you've got these articles, you've got these videos, and all these other things happening, and you changed this icon, but like, could we get something else? And so she went over to the dev teams and was like, is this possible? Here, I put this together. And they said, yeah, let's do it. And everybody worked really hard on getting it out before the end of the month. And it looks really great. I'm super excited about it. I hope that you all enjoy it. I'm definitely I put this on just a whole bunch of my characters as soon as it came out. I was like, yeah, everybody's LGBTQIA. But
Well,
that's just
happy
me,
Pride, buddy.
Thank you.
No, not just you. And you know, on that note, again, in our theme of D&D's for absolutely everyone, and is just again, just philosophically, I love this game. I think it'll make your life better playing it. And everybody's welcome here in this community and playing this game. Whether you're just watching stuff and commenting, or you're trying to find a group to actively play with on our Discord. We actually just did a really cool roundtable panel that our own Amy Dallen ran, which had an absolutely incredible cast, including Anthony Rapp from Star Trek, just talking about uh, finding your home in D&D, the LGBTQ plus community. Whether you're returning to the hobby, trying to find your place in it within the first time, and how it impacts your life. It's a great panel. Please go check it out. A lot of really cool stuff there. I'll talk about the gross dice. Hey, June perks are up. If you subscribe in the month of June, you get these awesome, just gross, squishy sanguine dice. You saw the spot run before we got started here. Super fun, super bloody, super pulsy. Really dig these. Again, we were sort of trying to get our P's and Q's together a little bit based on some questions that you guys had from the very first subscriber perk drop back in May. So that these ended up coming out a little late. So again, we'll be pushing the window that these are available back a little bit, just to make sure that people know about them, have a chance to subscribe and to get them, because they're super fun. They're super gross. Speaking of super fun and, I don't know, maybe super gross, it's a horror story. I don't know. We are doing a watch along of our game of House of Lament. So it's 5 episodes. They're each about 90 minutes. It's myself, Mellie, Amy Dallen, and our own Michael Galvis playing through House of Lament from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. We live streamed on Twitch. We've completed the game. So now what we're doing is we're premiering them on YouTube every Friday, so that you guys can and hanging out in chat, so that you guys can watch along with us, ask any questions that you've got. We've probably got questions for you guys. So just a cool watch along with y'all. We did episode 1 last week. It's currently up on YouTube, so it's super easy to catch up for episode 2 tomorrow. So please join us there. That's going to be super fun. And then finally on the now roadmap, Mellie,
Well, really
we're giving
quick.
stuff away.
Hey, just so the kids,
really
while
quick
we're on the
what?
topic, a question from chat, Reikio407 asks, hey, will there be a sequel to the House team, the House of Lament? Will we see this group play again together? What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, no, we definitely will. I don't know what we're going to do yet, or when, but we'll definitely play something again soon. I don't know if it'll be like a direct follow up with those characters or not. I philosophically, let's get into it for a minute. My approach with actual play of D&D and TTRPGs, I like to keep runs small so that they're accessible. I don't. There are some really incredible shows that run long and run for lots and lots of episodes, it just ends up being such a hill to climb, right? And so I am of the opinion of like really good and short, so that you can jump in and then jump out and move on with your life, and not have to have watched you know, dozens of hours of content to understand what's going on. So yeah, we'll definitely be playing again as a tail. How could we not? Mellie and
It
Michael
was
and Amy
so
are
fun.
incredible players. You're a wonderful player, and so I just me as a DM, I'm excited to play, or maybe round robin, let somebody else DM. I'd love to play again with this crew. But yeah, so we'll probably be doing something new next time we're together, but we'll be making that happen sooner rather than later. Thank you so much for asking, and thank you so much for watching it and caring about it. It's
Mhm.
a weirdly
For
personal
real.
thing, doing those stories in
Well,
front of people.
yeah, it's super fun. I've been really excited to just hear what people think about it, because as well, like I went into it just like we're gonna play this cool adventure. We're gonna have some fun with these people that I really enjoy hanging out with, my coworkers, and then hey, people ended up liking it and connecting to it in a really cool way. And I'm very excited to continue to watch along. And hey, the next thing on here, this giveaway, we started a giveaway. So if you want to win a legendary bundle, or hey, runner prizes of Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, head on over to any number of our platforms. We got Twitter, an Instagram, a Facebook, a Discord, and forums where you can go ahead and enter. You can enter on each of those once. You can have up to 5 entries, and you can tell us, hey, what is a time when the dice made your heart pound? Those natural 20s and critical fails that just were like that moment where things really came down to the wire. This is kind of tied to our Sanguine Dice set. You don't need to purchase anything to participate. Just go ahead and share that moment. Check the rules to make sure that you are also including the DDB style hashtag and that you're finishing your entry by going to the entry form. And then that draw will be happening next week. So if you'd like to win a legendary bundle that's over 40 books on D&D Beyond, go ahead, head over to all those spaces after the show and go ahead and enter. Love to give you a chance to win.
Oh yeah, and then in the interest
Yeah.
of time, because I want to be able to get Andrew in here, I'm going to crank through these next 3. Sound good, Mellie? So as we talked about last week, and we went sort of in depth into the whys and the challenges and the alternatives last week. So check out last week's dev update if you want to sort of be able to check that out. We won't be supporting the Strixhaven UA. It's just it's really important to us to make sure that we are presenting uh, rules as wizards of the coast, and the holders of D&D intend. And it's a pretty heavy lift. Like the Strixhaven UA is a radically new approach to subclasses, and we sort of made the decision. By we, I mean people who are much smarter than me, and I'm just parroting what they said. Right? I'm a joke boy. Um, Sort of the thought was, let's focus on having this like and ready to go for the actual book, instead of kind of pushing out something that's meh, on our end for the UA. So
Yeah, do it
last week
right.
we got into some like alternative approaches if you want to play with some of the ideas and stuff like that. All that said, in progress, coming soon, save and resume combat on the encounter builder, and we're actually going to have our guest maybe get into that a little bit, the ins and outs, what's it going to do, all that good stuff. So super excited about that. A lot of people request that, lots of folks sessions and mid combat, and you want to be able to pick that up instead of just hoping you don't accidentally close that Chrome tab before your next game starts. So we're removing that stress. Also coming soon, a dark mode. I think that sort of speaks for itself. Dark mode's coming, baby. Hey, Mellie, get our special guest up here.
Yeah,
These
let's
people have waited
get
long
him.
enough.
out here. We've got Andrew Searles on today, Senior Product Manager for D&D Beyond. He's a guy who's working on the projects that are covering the Encounter Builder, the Combat Tracker, the Digital Dice, the Game Log. So many amazing, cool things that are making our game space amazing. Andrew, hello! Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be on with you all. So,
I love it. And hey, let's just start, Andrew. We've got this save and resume for the Combat Tracker. Can you tell us a little bit more
yeah,
about that?
yeah, it's actually something that we've been wanting to do for a long time, and even just introducing that like save and resume after the combat tracker has been out for so long in alpha seems like we should have gotten to that a lot sooner. It's a lot more complicated on the back end, so that's how I'll answer that question. Is like it's a lot more complicated than you might think. But when you are able to use it, when we release it, the idea is it should just save automatically for you. So if you're asking questions like, "Am I gonna have to push the save button every turn?" or like, no, it's going to save everywhere you're at and then leave it there for you for the next time. So then that way you can do things like end on a cliffhanger, like the boss is about to kill this person. They're on their last death saving throw. Let's pick this up next time. And you can actually pick it up next time without having to like take a screenshot of the combat tracker and then try to
Ugh.
remake the whole thing. It'll save the turn order where you are in the line. It'll save the actual position in which whose turn was next, and it will also save the hit points of the monsters that you have. So
I love that. It's just like how when Google Docs came along, my life was changed because I was the person who always forgot to press save. And I also left like my schoolwork to the last moment. So I always lost it because, hey, it's an hour till this is due, and oh no, it crashed. So this is like the same kind of revolutionary moment for me. I feel like where when we have this, my combat is going to be so much better. Oh, I'm so excited. Let's see. We've got from Crimson Rockstar. Hey, and ignore the when part of this. Because again, like I said, we don't do ETAs, but will we be able to apply different dice sets to different characters?
yeah, that's actually a really great comment. It's something that I'm getting a lot more now than I used to, which is a great sign. So when we first released dice last year, a little over a year ago now, um, we thought we definitely want to be able to have a dice set per character. And in fact, we've been developing dice sets around character concepts so that way you could do just this, right? Like if you want that sort of bloody warrior, you've now got a blood dice set that you can have. Or if you want the you sort of mystical, magical, arcane kind of person, you've got the Archmage's Favor. Um, we have always imagined that we would have this, but when we first released dice, we knew we couldn't just like release 20 dice sets for you to be able to choose which one you want your character to have. So we had to sort of build up a collection of the dice set. And we hypothesized that as we got more, people would ask this question more often. So absolutely, this is definitely something we want to do. When? We'll see. But now that we have a real collection,
I dig this
Yeah.
because yeah, in my home game we're in Icewind Dale, and so all dice have to be cold themed, otherwise I feel like they kind of don't count. And yeah, all dice for our game of House of Lament had to be either the Memento Mori or the Sanguine dice, otherwise they just really didn't count. So yeah, I
Yeah.
dig this.
They're not legal at this table. The biggest part of getting my character ready to play at a table is picking the exact right dice set. I have a whole wall, and like, gotta have the right ones, or else it's not gonna work. So I'm very very excited about this. But also piggybacking off this, I see a few questions coming from the chat as you're talking about this. Of what about being able to like set a dice set for certain actions? Like, hey, I want my dice of healing. I want to roll when I roll healing, or my glacier dice. I want to roll for my Ray of Frost spell.
Yeah, absolutely. That's another thing that we sort of hierarchically dice set per character, and then dice set per action or ability or spell or whatever. So like, how cool would it be to be able to say every time I swing my great axe on my barbarian, I'm going to use the sanguine dice set, right? Especially if it's like a damage type. So we've been thinking a lot about, so if I ever roll a fire damage type, I want to roll fire dice, right? Which those keen to our collection know that we don't have fire dice yet. Or
Yet.
anytime I do frost damage, I want to roll the ice themed dice sets. So yeah, that's definitely something on the road. I would say that per character is a little higher on the priority list than per ability. But that's definitely something that we're thinking about, especially as we're creating the dice sets. We want to make sure we fill those niches first. There's niches, whatever.
Niches.
First,
both are,
Niches,
both
then
are allowed. Not
Niche.
that one. Nope.
Either way, we want to be able to make sure we have those things filled first before we build the functionality to do the thing. Because then everybody's going to be like, I now can cast Fireball, but I don't have any fire dice.
Right. Now, would that be something, I guess, you have the option to sort of go in and theme and flavor attacks and spells and stuff like that. So would that be something where, in addition to that would be sort of where you do that dice select, like your default, or you want to use your damage type?
Yeah, we've kind of thought, and we're still sort of thinking this through, but as the platform sort of evolves, it kind of changes the decisions as we make them. But there could either be sort of a global, anytime any character uses fire damage, I want to use these dice, or anytime this character does fire damage, I want to use fire dice. So it's sort of in both scenarios. It gets really the data model, how we capture that gets really complicated and intricate. So we want to be very careful to make sure that we don't overcomplicate something, both for our own development purposes and for the user, because that could get very sort of complicated. But ultimately, yeah, you should be able to make that choice right by the spell.
One more thing on this, because this is also coming up. But hey, random dice. Being able to just say, when I roll, just pick a random one from my collection.
Yeah, this would be a really cool cool thing to have as well. I think it's something that as we get the collection gets bigger and bigger, it's something that comes up a lot more. I personally would love that, so that way you can get a chance to kind of use it a different set all the time, and it'd be sort of a surprise as to like what comes out next.
Very fun. Hey, let's hop into some encounter builder, encounter tracker questions. Goldfang asks, are there any plans to include a random, speaking of random, I guess, include a random encounter generator to the encounter builder?
Yes, actually, we've even played with this some. So we've got a couple of prototypes that we've looked through to try to figure out how we would make this happen. Ultimately, there's some other bigger problems on the encounter builder and combat tracker, which we're sort of encapsulating that just into encounters that we want to solve first. But I think that you will see that random encounters become more and more important as we build out more tools in this game space. And I think that will become a central part of people's gameplay, both in official contexts and books and in custom. So we're traveling. I want to we're in the Arctic. Give me an Arctic random encounter. Start it. Go. Like, let's just play something.
Yeah.
That we should be able to do that really quickly.
Super fun. Speaking of kind of, I guess, just doing things a little bit more off the cuff or changing things last minute, stretching, someone asks, are there plans for adding or removing a monster or changing between combat stages throughout a battle? So, hey, I want to remove this NPC, I want to put this one in, I want to change maybe the order of initiative. Are there going to be, is that in consideration of being able to change things on the fly inside the combat tracker?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now you have just a manual entry button when you're on the combat tracker. right? So manual entry is just like literally, here's a name and here's some hit points for a thing. But we want to be able to add a specific monster so that way you can play off of that stat block. You can roll it, you can do all those things, or you can add a character, or you can add even a sidekick NPC at some point or something like that, so that way your combat tracker matches your actual combat and can actually help you play that combat. So adding those actual entities, the actual character, rather than just a manual placeholder, is something that we see as very important in the near future. So I would say too that we want to start pushing the encounters, both the counter builder, which is currently in beta, and combat tracker, which is currently in alpha, further down that line. But I think that the way that looks in the future is very, very different than the way it looks today. So there's some exciting things that will come from all of this as we sort of move down that road.
That is super exciting. We've got Crimson Rockstar and a few other people asking, and hey, this is something that I know. So will there be a way? I mean, I think this answer is very much yes. So I would like to hear you talk, Andrew, about character sheets, character data in some form being visible inside that encounter builder combat tracker space. How's that working? How's the progress on that moving right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I hear there's like 3 things in here. One is I have like the character in the combat tracker. I want to be able to see their stats there. It makes all the sense in the world, especially if it's just a few of them. Then the next one is I see a character there, even with a little bit of stats. I want to click on that and see their actual like stat block, right? And then the third one there I hear too, and I hear this a lot, is as a DM, I want a DM screen. And I always try to dig into that a little bit because the DM screen can mean so many different things. Like a DM screen could be literally that thing that you put in front of you so that nobody can see what you're doing. Or a DM screen could be like the thing I look at on my screen. But ultimately, everybody that asks for a DM screen is really talking about one very specific feature that I hear a lot, and I am looking to prioritize very, very soon, and that is I want to see all of my characters in one place on the screen, so that way I don't have to open up every one of them in their own tabs and then go to each one of them in order to see like what's their passive perception and what's their passive investigation if I wanted to use investigation passively. Which I can only imagine is for kleptomaniacs out there. I don't really know what a passive investigation check would be, except for just like, whoops. Anyway,
I
so
imagine it
building
like
some sort of a
you've got those like Sherlocky kind of characters in like all of the modern police dramas that just like they're talking to somebody but they're not really listening. They're really just like, oh, I see the dirt at the corner of that wall, so I know that there was a shelf there yesterday, and there's a hidden trapdoor. Like that's what that is.
Yeah, just always numbers and like equations, like sort of
Yeah.
spreading out of the brain. Yeah.
yeah. Maybe it's for those people that have characters that are smarter than they are, right? Like my character is much more smart. He's looking and always, but I am very, very ADD. So I don't know.
It's for when the DM is like, I really wish these players would ask this question. Oh, who has the highest passive investigation? Okay, hey you.
That's a really good way of looking at it. Just when a DM is finally just like, okay, oh my god, you guys.
I need to get you all on track because I don't know what I did, but we are not
just
thinking
open
on the same page here.
The door's not locked. The door doesn't have a spell on it. Just open the door. Yeah.
Passive investigation is just turning the knob. Just realizing you just turn it.
Yeah.
Or it's a push instead of a pull.
Yeah. Your character suddenly realizes we've been doing this for 30 minutes. And I'm bored.
Yeah, the chair is not
either way,
important.
Yeah, it is just a gazebo. So ultimately we want to put we want to put all the characters' stat blocks, their stats, in a place that you don't have to go to all of their sheets to see that stuff. And even more than that, we want to sort of redefine the paradigm of a what a stat block really is, in order to allow you to sort of compare and contrast, right? Because in those situations with like a passive investigation, you always want to compare other characters to themselves, right? Like to other characters. So what you really are saying is like, give me the person with the highest passive perception, right? So it'd be great if this sort of DM screen who shows you all the characters reorders and says, okay, this is the highest perception, or reorders and tells you this is the person with the highest hit points, or this is the person with the highest AC or lowest, or that sort of thing. So we're looking at how do we create a way to not just in the combat tracker itself being able to sort of pull out the stat blocks for a character, but like give the DMs a screen where they can manage their characters and the player information and compare it to one another so that they can use it in their game quickly.
Love that. And
yeah,
then
sort of like a place
we're
where the DM can play from.
Yeah,
like how the characters have
Exactly.
character
Yes.
sheets.
yeah, which for me right now
Yeah.
is the combat tracker. That is kind of my DM shield. That's where I live. We're running a little low on time, but Andrew, thank you so much for being here, man. And folks, if you've got your own sort of thoughts on what should go on a DM shield, where it should live, what you want to be able to see on it, Andrew, how can they communicate that to you?
Absolutely. Okay, so get a pencil and write all these things down. 1, the forum and the feedback. 2, you can tweet me, ACSEARLES, or you can find me and direct message me on the forums or in Discord. My name there is Amja, AMMJA, or just yell really loudly.
Very
and
loudly.
if you're close to sort of Utah, I probably will hear you.
I mean, I figured you would just be like, we'll utilize the feedback flow. But man, you just really put yourself out there, Andrew.
You
I
just said
appreciate it.
me. Tell me specifically.
All of those are the all of those are the top of it, right? So those would then ingest and go through that whole feedback flow. You'd be able to, if you're speaking in the forums or you're talking in Discord, we have people there watching and finding you there. So
Yep.
Yeah.
And look,
across
if you're
all
watching
the
this
D&D
in the
Beyond
future,
social media as well, you can throw those there because I'm watching those and again passing them up through the feedback flow.
and if you're watching this in the future on YouTube, and you didn't get a chance to ask Andrew any questions on Twitch, or kind of get those thoughts heard, leave them in the comments. We're seeing all of them. We're putting them into our feedback flow system, and we appreciate you guys helping us build a better Beyond. We really, really do. I'm Joe. That's Mellie. Andrew, thank you so much for giving us some of your time, dude. I know you're super, super busy. We really appreciate it. And we really appreciate you guys hanging out, watching the dev update with us. As always, if you look at this and you're like, sounds cool, I have no one to play with, go to our forum, go to our Discord. There's always groups looking for games. So please, absolutely do that. Get a little bit of D&D into your life. You deserve it. And we'll see you guys a little later today. We're going to be talking. A little Drist. We're going to talk a little Menzo Berenson. And we're going to find out if I just said either of those things correctly, because I've never tried to speak them out loud before. See you guys later. Until then, be kind to each other and be safe. See you next time. Bye.